It is Friday, 8/4/2017, 8 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. So you know what time it is. It's time for a little bit of coin metal. And of course, we did not go and get our ass kicked today. My arms were a little bit sore from when I got my ass kicked last night. So I made good on my promise to myself to try and get a little bit of open mat time at least, while I'm still kind of convalescing on a couple injuries. And of course, just like a kid in a candy store, when somebody asked me if I wanted to roll, I had to do it. I just had to. You know, there's something about it. It's like, it's almost like if you're in public and if you're a man and some woman comes up to you and says, "Hey, would you like to have sex?" You just say yes. You don't think about it much. I mean, you might give her a rough evaluation just to see you're not gonna catch something weird. But you know, for the most part, you're gonna go with the flow. And you know, jiu-jitsu is no different. And it's one of the reasons why I strongly encourage people who are trying to nurse back from some injuries to stay away from the dojo. I know it's difficult. I know you feel guilty and you want to be with your teammates and you want to roll and all that other shit, but you know what the difference between a chronic injury and tendinitis is? Nothing. It's still going to keep you off the mat when it flares up. So you got to take your time. You know, you got to alternate. You got to do other things when you're not able to roll with people, because invariably they are going to grab for the arm that's hurt or the shoulder that's hurt, or they're going to roll on the rib that's hurt, or you know, they're going to put their knee right on the spot and on the inside of your leg that's hurt. You know, it's going to happen. It always does. It's like a magnet. It says, touch me. Touch me. There's more pain going right here. Touch me. You want to hurt me, right? Touch me right here. It never fails. I mean, you know, whether it's due to compensating for trying to avoid hitting that spot or what, I don't know. I can't explain it, but it is better to endeavor in other things. You know, if you've been training as long as I have, it's not so much a question of what you can do. It's more a question of what to do. You know, I mean, I vacillate between wanting to go run in a river or something, or run on the treadmill, roll around on the living room floor, or go into the dojo and maybe not get into class, maybe not take on all comers, but at least do a good warm up, you know, and maybe some conditioning, maybe some drills. You know, there are plenty of solo drills, and man, if you look on YouTube, there's a bazillion and one solo drills that you can do, that you can pick up the routines there. And you know what I've been thinking about doing is, you know, this is the 21st century, and also I thought about just downloading a whole bunch of videos and then putting them on my biggest device. You know, if I had a laptop, it'd be even better. But putting all of them on the device and then playing them, you know, so it's kind of like an aerobics class or a yoga class where you got the instructor telling you what to do and whatnot, and then just doing solo stuff in the privates room, assuming of course there isn't anybody in there. But it's weird. I find more and more there's a growing trend at my gym where there's always some sort of covert training, and I figured it out. Really what it is that a lot of the guys are getting ready for tournaments, you know, and they're wanting to tighten up their game because they're planning on being on the mat. And so, you know, they kind of sequester themselves and get some one-on-ones and whatnot, and it limits the distractions. It's a lot more conducive for trying to sharpen up your skills. It's something I should probably do if I actually do intend to compete in September, which I've been toying with the idea of doing. You know, I'm starting to get a little smoother. Yesterday I couldn't put this guy away, but I have a feeling he's had a bit of experience. But one thing I loved about him is that he is on the path. I mean, it's like it's driving him. He's hardly there, you know, and I really admire that when somebody can like devote themselves wholeheartedly to it, because he's telling me, he's like, man, I've been here for 3 hours today, and I'm like looking at him, he's only got 2 stripes on his white belt. So I mean, that kind of devotion, that kind of stick-to-itiveness at that early in the game, I really got to admire that, and that's some good stuff. And I got to roll with him, and like I said, I couldn't put him away. So I got to assume he's hitting it 4, maybe 5 times a week at least. And if he's doing it 3 hours a day each time, he's going to blow by me in no time, which I could feel competitive about. But you know what? He's also about 20 years younger than me, so I don't feel too competitive about it. You know, it's, you know, after a while you do got to calculate the age into there, and it's not even copying out. It's just a matter of realism, you know. But despite the fact that he does have the age advantage and about 40, maybe 50 pounds on me, he was still unable to break my guard or escape it. I think at one point he did, I did disengage my guard to try and do something else, and he got out of it. But point being, he put some hurt on me today, so I figured it was better to be prudent, maybe get in a 10 a.m. tomorrow, which that feels like the better move at this point, just because, you know, I'm feeling the need to recover. But I'll tell you what, when I was in there, I felt really, really, really fucking good. So I know between the yard work I'm doing and whatnot that I'm starting to get back to where I need to be really moving forward in my jiu-jitsu game. You know, I mean, you gotta have your essentials, man. If your flexibility's diminished, if your strength's diminished, if your joints are compromised, you know, it's a little bit tougher to make forward progress with your mental game and your technique game. And so you gotta get your shit corralled together before you can move forward. Anyway, with that in mind, let's go ahead and start into it with our first dance. And I hadn't heard this song in 2 forevers, and I don't think I've ever played it on this show. But I want to play Annihilator. Schizos Are Never Alone here on Coin Metal. And that was Good Morning Black Friday by Megadeth. As a matter of fact, I think I said this last time that they're still currently touring out there in Europe. Every once in a while on my Twitter feed I get a picture from it, and that's pretty interesting. Another one out there right now is Prong, and they've been doing the same thing where they've been sending pictures of their tour. At least Tommy's been posting pictures from the tour. And it looks like they're playing a lot bigger venues over there in Europe, man. I mean, they're packing some really big houses. Kind of makes me feel a little left out, you know, because it's not happening here in the U.S. where I am. Such is life. Unfortunately, we can't be everywhere all the time, but, you know, we're working on it. And it's with that idea of kind of a decentralized existence. I was thinking about this the other day, how it'd be really cool if there were cryptocurrencies and I know there are already, I just haven't gotten around to using them. Cryptocurrencies to be using inside video games. You know, like currencies that you can both spend in video games and in real life. And I know you can do that already, and that there are games that do exactly that. You know, that you can like earn the coin in the game and so on and so forth. But I was thinking about a game in particular, PlanetSide 2. Now, I don't know if you ever got in on the goodness, but I gotta tell you, back in the day with that game, I had so much fun. I would log on, there'd be, you know, 20 to 40 of of my good friend playing buddies, and we go and roll a digital world for about 2 hours, and or longer. Sometimes it was days that we held control. But after a while, it got not so fun for everybody else, and so on and so forth. But there were things in the game that you could buy, and I was thinking about it at the time that it'd be cool if the game itself was actually mining the coin in the background. Now, we already know this is possible because Gerbez has his fucking shadow mining scam through Steam. And amazingly enough, he actually posted other materials about that. So, I mean, if you look that up, Adam Gerbez, ghost mining and shit, you can find that. And to me, it's duplicitous and not right. I mean, because it's like, assuming, of course, you're not actually rewarding the people whose resources that you're harvesting. You know, it's like if you're concentrating, you know, a shit ton of cycles from like, you know, 10, 20,000 people. You know, you should be compensating them a little bit of the reward that you're actually yielding from it. And personally, I think what would be really cool, and if somebody were really smart, and I'm sure there's probably something like this out there, and if there isn't, there soon will be, because of the suggestion, a video game that not only mines the currency in the background, right, but you are doing it willingly, knowingly, and you can adjust your contribution. So, you know, say you're, 5% of your cycles you're going to dedicate to this currency. So, like in your idle time when you're in between games and shit like that, it'll be either running in the background or right up front. You know, or, you know, some little notifier on your desktop letting you know what your hash rate is and all that business. But, you know, right out in the open, be fucking open about it. I mean, if you're open about it and honest about it, you'll get way more participants than if you're just fucking snaking from people. I mean, and sure, the initial reward is great, you know, you don't have to cut anybody in on what you're stealing from them, but on the other side of that is your reputation. And at some point or another, you'll be wanting to encourage other people to do this so that you can extend your hashing power on your little botnet network, right? Well, eventually that's going to get disseminated out onto Twitter, onto Reddit, or onto Telegram, or Discord, or half a dozen other messaging services, you know, Facebook, and before you know it, somebody's caught on to you, and before you know it, it's what you're doing is recognized as the fraudulent criminal activity it actually is, and then you're fucked. So it's better to go honest and upfront, and be honest and upfront about it. Say, look, dude, check it out. You're gonna be mining this coin, and we'll pay it straight out to you. You know, it'll be available in your in-game wallet. It'll be available in your app wallet on your phone and shit like that. And it'll be exchangeable on cryptocurrency or other type of exchanges. You know, you will be able to exit out to Bitcoin or Bitcoin Cash or Ethereum or Litecoin or any one of a number of other currencies, Verge, Monero, you know, and just move along into the 21st century. I really think that is going to be the basis of the new economy. And one thing that is going to be key to it is participation. Participation, folks. Willing participation. Avid participation. Desiring to participate. Wanting to participate. I mean, it's like Bitcoin Cash. You know, right now they're having some sort of issue with not having a whole lot of hashing power and all that. Fuck, man, I want to get some miners and fucking fire them up and point them at that shit. I really do. You know, I think that could be profitable. You know, now while the network's got low hashing power, then, you know, the chances of me getting the reward are higher. You know, if I were mono mining. But, you know, I think that situation will get resolved soon enough. I mean, it's obvious that it's not going to go and it's going to die or anything like that. So I think that it'll keep going, you know, and that eventually when all the SegWit signaling is gone and whatnot, people will just transition over to it, because SegWit will continue to fail to hit. I mean, they've got some sort of activation, and they're in some series of activation windows and whatnot, but these are all imposed. You know, whether or not people actually flag support for the triggers, that's an entirely different story. And as long as Bitcoin Cash exists, there'll be a viable alternative to walk away from. So, you know, you want to flex nuts with your Seg shit coin? It's no longer profitable for me to be a miner on your coin or whatever? Fuck you. I'll go over here and play with these guys over here at Bitcoin Cash. Just circumvent your silly ass. But nothing has really happened yet. All of the quote happenings are in social media. This whole August 1st thing for the BIP 140 is all social media shit. I mean, there's a little hardware support and whatnot, but you know, these people that are hooting and hollering over getting SegWit in. The last time I checked, and I don't know if that's changed. The last time I checked, it was not actually activated yet. So I don't know. I guess we'll find out on that one. I'm not in a panic over it. I've been passionate and panicky about it before, and I think I've gotten that out of my system, because, you know, August 1st came and went, and for the most part things have been going along. You know, there's still altcoins out there, and I mean that out of everything, that makes me laugh the most is the people that were so pro SegWit, or the majority of the people that I saw that were very SegWit are very anti altcoin. They hate altcoins. They think that somehow or another their ability to sidechain off of Bitcoin with their Lightning networks and whatnot, that's going to supplement the need for other cryptocurrencies, or the desire to participate in them. And I think that speaks of arrogance. I mean, that's somebody that really, to me, that perspective is somebody that has been involved since maybe 2015, 2014, 2015. You know, like late 2014 maybe. You know, because about that time that the calls for SegWit came. And that's about the extent of this person's, you know, that they're projecting that kind of perspective on cryptocurrencies. I mean, because really, all you needed to do was be here between like 2011 and 2013, or 2014 rather. And we ran this entire fucking gamut before, and we're seeing it again. Like I said, we're seeing the same thing being expressed in ICOs that we saw during that period. You know, that vast proliferation of altcoins, people saying, hey, you know, if Bitcoin can do it, so can we. Well, you know, they're doing it again in ICOs, because, well, you know, who's got time to bother with developing a community and all that? You know, although I will admit some of the ICOs do have community community support. But nothing as thick as any cryptocurrencies. I mean, like Verge, for example. We got 3,000 people on our Telegraph at any one time. We got another like 100 people in the fucking IRC. So, we're all over the place. I'm sure if I were on Slack and Discord, there's channels for Slack and Discord, and that those are full of people too. We're all over Bitcoin Talk. We've got groups on Facebook. It's all over the place, man. It's all over. And so, the idea that's just going to vanish. It's been percolating and bubbling around on this planet since 2014, and it hasn't died. It's still kicking around. So, I think it is funny how undervalued it is, but I think that for our utility, it's just fine that we're this small right now. I don't think we're going to be this small forever, because I think that the utility for anonymous cryptocurrencies is going to go up. I mean, the what we're seeing now with some of the things the regulatory bodies in the United States have been saying gives us the impression that they're aware of us, and they're trying to craft tools to direct the traffic in the crypto space. And the time for that was like maybe back in like 2012. I think we're well beyond the need or the utility for such bodies. With our blockchains, as much as I hate saying that word because it's been like co-opted and all fucked around, we have our own public records of our currencies, and we can develop new ones tomorrow, today, if we really wanted to. If we were really good, had an idea of where we wanted to go with it. And even if we didn't, we could Dogecoin it. Develop a point later, after the fact even. But the point being is that remains possible. And I don't think that is going to change at any point in the future. I think what is said about it, and I think the bodies that think they are in charge of ruling over it, I think those things might change. But in the longer term, I see a world that is being faced with cryptocurrencies in a time when it is least capable of denying the utility of them. Where the liquidity pools are getting a little tight out there. Okay? And so people are looking around for new ways to make a buck. And of course, wages are flat. Manufacturing is relatively flat, although that's seen a minor pickup. But we've also seen in the face of that increasing signs of rampant inflation. Rampant fiat inflation without any backing in GDP to really keep it buoyed. You know what I mean? And so it's those kind of things that are troubling. We in the crypto space, we're holding up more than we probably should. We're shouldering a lot more than people think, as far as like the development of the new monetary systems. We are basically like the proving ground for these Visas and IBMs and whatnot. They're at least looking at our data and saying, well, gosh, look at how this one performed over X duration of time. And I guess that's cool and all, but these companies and these parties usually have it in their mind a limited number of participants, and never on an even keel with those participants. That those participants are subject to their rules and so on and so forth. And I think that's one of the conflicts that we're experiencing here in the crypto space, is that hardware manufacturers have been really taken with this idea that they have to rule over what the user does with the hardware. And I think in a lot of ways that's limiting us. My feeling is if the device has a capability, that it should be open and freely available to the user, and that they should know how to use it. But maybe I'm asking too much there. Shit, I just got to go out on the road to know that a lot of people don't bother reading the instruction manual to their shit. But in any case, I think that's one of the advantages of cryptocurrencies, that if you're willingly participating in them, you're at least aware of what you're doing, or at least moderately aware. But I think there's a lot of people that envision this as something like the old experiments that the government was doing with LSD, where they would just give their employees fucking LSD at this fucking bordello and not tell them, and they'd be dosed out of their gourd. They get like 500 micrograms or some shit like that, and not even know it. And they're they pull some fucking head trip on them, like, have some coworker or something catch him in the room, or, I'm going to tell your wife, and completely freak them out, and then watch what happens with them. And see, I think that like IBM and those guys, they look at cryptocurrencies and they see it as a part of a technology that we could just be subjected to, that we aren't necessarily participating in it, or at least not willingly, and probably not knowingly either, and we're certainly not profiting off of it. I think that ideology needs to go away. If you give me the hammer, I'm gonna build whatever the fuck I want with it. I'm not gonna just build houses with it. I might build a house, but I might build a greenhouse and grow some pot in it, or something like that. But it's just a tool. That's all it is. And with regard to cryptocurrencies, it's the same thing. It's just code. It's code, and just code, until you run it, until you dedicate some electricity and some hardware to it, and then it becomes a currency and a transaction network, a global, transnational, monetary transaction network, peer-to-peer. And that's more powerful than any bank on planet Earth. And we have it in our hands. It just amazes me that level of breakage has actually happened in our society. And I'm not surprised by it actually happening, but I am surprised that it actually happened. I'm not surprised in that I saw plenty of reasons for it to happen. I'm just surprised that somebody actually had the nads to step forward, even if they had to do it pseudonymously, and throw the gauntlet down and give us something good. And I have an article that I want to touch on, and I sometimes have trouble wanting to give this guy credit, because the perspective that he displays on his shows concerning cryptocurrencies, it gives me the impression that either A, he sold at the peak, he bought at the peak and sold it at a dip, panic sold, and just like completely divested himself of it, or he's holding a massive fucking crypto portfolio and he doesn't want anybody else to get in on it, so he lies like a motherfucker. And you know what? The guy is smart enough, and he's been in the game long enough that either scenario is entirely plausible. So this is from Peter Schiff's page, and Schiff Gold. Status report. States take on the Fed's money monopoly. Oh, I'm sorry. That the The emphasis was wrong there. States take on the Fed's money monopoly. And that's status report. And this is by Shift Gold on August 3rd, 2017. States continue to pass measures that chip away at the Federal Reserve's monopoly on money by facilitating and encouraging the use of gold and silver. Under a bill recently signed into law by North Carolina Governor Roy Cooper, signed a bill into law, investors will no longer have to pay state sales taxes when they buy gold and silver. The new law removes an important roadblock in the way of their everyday use as money, taking the first step towards breaking the Federal Reserve's monopoly. With the governor's signature, the law went into effect retroactively to July 1st, 2017. A month earlier, Louisiana Governor John Bel Edwards signed a similar bill into law that went into immediate effect. While repealing state taxes on precious metals may seem like a relatively small step, it removes one barrier to owning gold and silver and eliminates a penalty on the use of sound money. A new Arizona law that goes into effect August 9th eliminates... Hold on a second, what the fuck is that? Oh, god damn, son of a bitch. You know, you gotta love Pandora. It just decides when it wants to come on sometimes. Come on, fucker. Motherfucking piece of shit. And now we're going to get rid of it. There we go. Alright, now we can get back to our show. A new Arizona law that goes into effect August 9th eliminates state capital gains taxes on gold and silver specie, removing another barrier. Representative Mark Finchheim, Republican Tucson, sponsored HB 2014. The legislation eliminates state capital gains taxes on income derived from the exchange of one kind of legal tender for another kind of legal tender. The bill defines legal tender as a medium of exchange, including specie, that is authorized by the United States Constitution or Congress for the payment of debts, public charges, taxes, and dues. Specie means coins having precious metal content. In effect, passage of HB 2014, quote, legalized the Constitution by treating gold and silver specie as money. Imagine if you asked a grocery clerk to break a $5 bill and he charged you a 35-cent tax. Silly, right? After all, you were only exchanging one form of money for another. Essentially, this is what taxing the, quote, sale of gold and silver is. As Ron Paul said during testimony in favor of the Arizona bill, quote, we ought not to tax money, and that's a good idea. That's a good idea. It makes no sense to tax money. Of course, this is all good news for gold and silver dealers and investors, but it has much broader implications. These bills effectively remove taxes from the exchange of one kind of legal tender for another kind of legal tender. After all, gold and silver are money. In other words, individuals buying gold or silver bullion or utilizing gold and silver in a transaction would no longer be subject to state taxes on the exchange. This should encourage and facilitate the use of gold and silver in everyday transactions. Paul said he considered the Arizona bill to be, quote, very important because it would also serve as an educational effort for other states, but it would also have a practical effect. Passage of HB 2014 in Arizona and efforts in other states to eliminate sales taxes mark an important first step toward currency competition. If sound money gains a foothold in the marketplace against Federal Reserve notes, people would be able to choose the time-tested stability of gold and silver over the central bank's rapidly depreciating paper currency. The freedom of choice expanded by repealing gold and silver taxes allows residents to secure the purchasing power of their money. On another front, in the war against the Fed, the Texas Bullion Depository took a major step closer to reality in June when officials formally announced the private vendor that will run the facility. The creation of a state bullion depository in Texas represents a power shift away from the federal government to the state, and it provides a blueprint that could ultimately end the Fed. Governor Greg Abbott signed legislation creating the State Gold Bullion and Precious Metal Depository in June of 2015. The facility will not only provide a secure place for individuals, businesses, cities, counties, government agencies, and even other countries to God damn it, Peter. Read your shit aloud, Pete. To store gold and other precious metals, the law also creates a mechanism to facilitate the everyday use of gold and silver in business transactions. In short, a person will be able to deposit gold or silver and pay other people through electronic means or checks in sound money, meaning their own gold or silver-backed currency. Wouldn't even have to do it in Federal Reserve notes. You could probably do it in cryptocurrencies. People are already using gold in everyday transactions through companies like Gold Money. Through the company's digital interface, you can send and accept precious metals to and from other Gold Money holdings and businesses across the world. These bullion banks, whether state-run or private, can seriously undermine the Fed's monopoly on money. They allow for easy transfer of physical precious metals, meaning everyday people can easily transact business using gold and silver. The option to use sound money can force rapidly depreciating Federal Reserve notes out of the marketplace. Constitutional tender expert Professor William Green said when people in multiple states actually start using gold and silver instead of Federal Reserve notes, it would effectively nullify the Federal Reserve and end the federal government's monopoly on money. Quote, over time, as residents of the state use both Federal Reserve notes and silver and gold coins, the fact that the coins hold their value more than Federal Reserve notes do will lead to a, quote, reverse Gresham's law effect, where good money, gold and silver coins, will drive out bad money, Federal Reserve notes. As this happens, a cascade of events can begin to occur, including the flow of real wealth toward the state's treasury, an influx of banking business from outside of the state, as people in other states carry out their desire to bank with sound money, and an eventual outcry against the use of Federal Reserve notes for any transactions. During the last legislative session, Utah State Representative Ken Ivory, Republican West Jordan, introduced a bill to facilitate the operation of, quote, gold banks, such as UPMA. The bill didn't advance this session, but Ivory set the stage to push the issue further next year. Ideally, Utah will pass this bill next session, and other states will follow suit. The explosion in efforts to encourage sound money in the states goes beyond mere monetary policy and finances. It's broadly about liberty. During an event after his Senate committee testimony in Arizona, Ron Paul pointed out that it's really about the size and scope of government. Quote, if you're for less government, you want sound money. The people who want big government, they don't want sound money. They want to deceive you and commit fraud. They want to print the money. They want a monopoly. They want to get you conditioned, as our schools have conditioned us, to the point where deficits don't matter. These state efforts open the door for a serious pushback against the Fed and its monopoly on money. But state action alone won't accomplish anything. Ultimately, it will be up to everyday Americans to take advantage of these state laws and actually start using gold and silver when possible. This is the perfect opportunity to engage in acts of individual nullification. Without individual action, the politics really won't matter. The bottom line is it's up to us. I couldn't agree more, Pete. Good thing there's cryptocurrencies. Now, my problem with quote-unquote gold money is that unless you're actually holding it in your hand, it does not have that utility. You cannot trust that it exists or that you are the sole guarantor of it. Or sole beneficiary? No, it's not beneficiary. Guarantor would be them. So, I don't know, maybe guarantor? I'm trying to ferret out the right word for that one. But there's no guarantee that it's actually your gold. You know, for all you know, everybody looks at the same fucking stack of gold when they're looking at their gold, their quote-unquote gold. Their gold. Their quote-unquote their gold. You know, it's not really their gold. It's everybody gold, but their view says it's their gold. And so, you know, I'm sorry, Pete. You know, I love what you have to say about money and all that, but I mean, like I said, unless you're actually transacting in the coins themselves, you're still in derivatives of coins, and you're no better than paper silver being circulated on the fucking global exchanges. You know, it's and that's what we've tried to get away from with cryptocurrencies, and I think that's the point that of course Pete's own bias and, of course, his interest in his company. I mean, because don't get me wrong, I think that gold and silver are the ultimate stores of monetary value. However, the markets are open to manipulation. Even now, in this digital age, there are plenty of ways that the fucking gold market is highly manipulated and highly distorted. Like I said, there's only so much gold above ground. But if they did a total accounting of like the obligations, like where the gold's supposed to go and shit, they would find out that there's promised like thousands, maybe millions of times more gold is supposed to be owned by the people privately owned by people on Earth that doesn't exist. You know, that there, you know, it's supposedly a finite resource. There's supposedly only so much of it. Okay? So the chances that there's enough out there for everybody that's holding the certificate that says, hey man, I got $10 worth of gold. No. I mean, if there were a global effort to cash out on their gold certificates, we would find out really quick. The entire fucking global economy that was based on any of those reserves would collapse. Collapse. Here in cryptocurrencies, we're fine because all our shit goes deterministically, more or less. I mean, there's some goof ups here and there, but for the most part, the devs are on it and straighten shit out, and everything gets flowing along. But anyway, back to this article and what this means for us. To me, this is something you do after it's kind of obvious that you've already lost containment on the monetary monopoly that you've held. And Bitcoin was the clarion call, or the fucking tow missile that did that shit in. You know? And so, with the proliferation of altcoins and now ICOs and whatnot, you've got states looking at that reality and saying, well, wait a minute, okay, so like, what's real money anymore? I mean, because it's kind of obvious that my kid can make a fucking currency and circulate it just as well, if not better, than the Federal Reserve can. So, what's the point of using them again? I mean, they won't even give us an audit of how many notes they've actually created and what their total assets are and all that other shit. So, why should we continue to trust them? I mean, really, if you were to take the material value of everything above ground right now, buildings, fucking everything, the vast majority of it is represented in debt to banks like the Federal Reserve. I mean, it's a situation that we don't really have to deal with anymore. That trust, having to trust that at that level with the very notes that we conduct our daily commerce with. I mean, come on now. We don't need to trust with that anymore. We can verify. And these people that want to reinsert trust into Bitcoin, I've got nothing but contempt for that. I really do. I mean, especially because if you're going to facilitate something like that, do it as a service. Charge your customers appropriately. Do it as a service. Pay your fucking taxes. Apply for the fucking licenses. Apply with FinCEN and all that. You've created the necessity with all your bullshit, so just fucking suck it up and deal with it. But then we can move forward. Anyway, let's go ahead and kick back down into some music here, because I'm feeling the need. And we did some stuff there. Let's go ahead and throw in some Metallica. I'm feeling like Master of Puppets. It's a good long song, but I enjoys it. So here it is. Metallica, Master of Puppets, here on Coin Metal. And that was Prong with Retreat. Gotta say, that's a very, very catchy song. I'd like to see it live sometime, I think. Anyway, back into articles. I'd started off talking about how PlanetSide 2 had stuff you can buy in game, and the way that it worked was because it was a Sony game, and I think eventually it moved to Steam, where you did this, where you go out and you buy the Steam card or the PlayStation card or whatever, the Sony card, and it'd be like, $20 or $50 or $100 or whatever, and then you'd be able to spend that for in-game tokens, by validating the card and whatnot, and then you would be able to buy upgrades for your weaponry, upgrades for your vehicles, so on and so forth. And so, I got to thinking about it, and I think it'd be really cool if the game itself was also a miner. And we have such powerful computers these days that having a really good first-person shooter running on one video card while and it being a mining program as well, I think that's entirely possible and plausible. Anyway, so I came across this article, and I think it may be fitting our bill. So we're going to go ahead and read it and find out. DMarket to monetize game items with the power of blockchain. The new player, DMarket, has announced the release of a decentralized marketplace that will be used for trading gaming content through any game. DMarket has made an official release statement of their brand new cross-game trading platform, which will allow gamers from multiple video games to freely trade game items and other video game content. Smart contract and blockchain technologies power this marketplace, which will open a whole new economy to over 2 billion gamers around the globe, enabling them to trade virtual items and earn money with just a click. DMarket also offers an API that will enable game developers to include their games in the market and make their game content tradable. This means that they won't have to go through the trouble of creating their own closed markets that will be limited to their games only. On top of that, any smaller game will be able to enter this huge market and become part of this growing economy. Volodymyr Pachenko, the founder and CEO of DMarket, explains, "With DMarket, we are using blockchain technology to matchmake virtual and real economies. Gamers will be able to use DMarket to bring their virtual items to the global economy, creating a new billion-dollar market. DMarket will satisfy the demand of more than 2 billion gamers across different platforms. With just a simple click, players will be able to exchange their items across multiple virtual worlds and trade them for real goods. DMarket will bring real value to every virtual item." The estimated revenue of the video game industry in 2016 surpassed $100 billion, and by 2020, it's expected that this number will grow by an additional $30 billion. Even though there are more gamers than ever, only a small number of players are able to make money through their gaming experience. DMarket can completely change this by connecting various game universes through a single platform. All players will finally be able to sell their items and make money through their gaming efforts. On top of that, all of the trading and gaming efforts will be convertible into real cash, which has never been done before. DMarket will launch their token currency on August 17th, 2017, at which time people can immediately buy tokens. The sale will only last for 72 hours, and then we can learn more by visiting their official website. And you know what I'm going to do? I'm cracking it open right now here on my browser, and it's a very spiffy looking website. And that's immediately kind of a scam alert for me, but that's just me. I'm just like that. But anyway, I have posted that in the Telegram, and you know I better post that in my Twitter and IRC as well. This is the 21st century, and we can do that kind of stuff. I love it. I loves the future. I loves it. Man, if only the future could have gotten here like maybe a decade and a half ago, that would have been really cool. But oh well, you know, these things take time, right? So anyway, we got this whiz-bang website here, and let's see what their white paper looks like. Come on, man. Give me the fucking white paper. Ooh, 29 pages. Wow. I think we can do it. I think we can do it. Yeah, definitely. Whew. I don't know if I want to take on 29 all at once, but, well, I don't know. The first page is just a big splash here. DMarket, make virtual assets real. You know, I my imagination is already spinning with this thing, but you know, we did read the preface article. Let's go ahead and drop back into music for just a moment. We'll just get 2 songs in really quick, and then we're going to dive into this DMarket thing. Give me an opportunity to post on social media and whatnot. Let people know exactly what we're doing here. Anyway, yeah, let's go ahead and throw down a little bit of Push Monkey here, Lefty, here on Coin Metal. And that was Sepultura with The Rise. And so, let's get into this bad boy. This is the DMarket white paper, and we posted all over the frickin' place in all of our little windows to you, the public. And so here we go into the abstract. This is page 2 of 29. DMarket is a global marketplace solution that turns every virtual item into a real commodity. This paper discusses how we combine blockchain technologies and 7 years of industry experience to open this multi-billion-dollar market to the existing world economy. All that time people spend playing games on their mobile, PC, console, or any other platform could finally be worth something. Dude, at least a decade of my life is spent in some sort of video game. I mean, I would think that'd be worth something, right? Essentially, DMarket is a new ecosystem where gamers, developers, and entrepreneurs can effectively and securely evaluate and trade virtual items. Thus, DMarket creates a new economy that joins with existing real equity markets. Early access to the present paper was given to a number of individuals from the gaming industry and blockchain community. The authors deeply thank and acknowledge the comments and criticisms that have been made have made the design of DMarket and this white paper as good as they are. Any faults that remain are, of course, the authors. Yes, and I can see lack of use of commas is kind of annoying. Introduction, table of contents, blah 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 blah. Introduction. In real life, whether you are a lawyer, a crypto trader, a game developer, or a miner, you spend time, experience, and even luck working to achieve something. This always results in new experience and or real assets. And since it is yours, you can sell, gift, or just throw away any asset. Every day, 2.2 billion people play games on different platforms and devices, creating a gaming industry that in 2016 reached 100 billion and continues to boom. Only 4,000 pro gamers make a profit from the time and skill they spend gaming, including the trading of in-game items they accumulate. Just a couple of games accumulating only 6% of the global audience made a turnover of $3 billion of in-game items. The rest of the gamers are out of the market. The existing technologies cannot connect many game universes and platforms together. As a result, players are stuck with their useless items, despite their time and effort. The growth of the gaming audience and the rise of VR and AR markets has compounded this situation. Our team knows exactly what gamers want. 12 months ago, we started trading virtual items in just a couple of games, and since then, we have traded 12 million virtual items. We know what the market needs and have already developed a unique platform that enables us to satisfy that need. And you forgot the word "to." You should really read this stuff out loud, dude. We are now developing a marketplace based on blockchain and smart contracts that enables one-click sale, exchange, or evaluation of every virtual item between all games on any platform. The DMarket token will be the only currency on the platform, providing different options that affect every trade, exchange, fee, and smart contract. By the end of this white paper, you will see how we are building a new online economy with the DMarket token. 2.2 billion gamers will finally be able to enter a global virtual item market. Using our API, every game developer will easily connect their game to DMarket and gain from the increased value, revenue, and time spent in their games. Market and industry. Video games and VR. There are approximately 2.2 billion gamers across the globe who are expected to generate revenue of $109 billion in 2017. This shows a $7.8 billion, 7.8% growth compared to 2016. Digital game revenue will account for about $95 billion, 87% of the global market. The most profitable segment is mobile, showing $46.1 billion, 19%, and claiming 42% of the market. According to the VR/AR report Q3 2017 provided by DigiCapital, the virtual reality and augmented reality market is expected to reach up to $122 billion by 2021. Also, DigiCapital claims that the size of the gaming market is going to reach $200 billion over the next 5 years. Many companies, such as Microsoft Corp., Nintendo Co. Ltd., and Sony Corp., are launching their own VR-compatible console, and this competition accelerates the industry as a whole. Digital e-commerce and gaming market analysis. In this section, we reviewed the biggest players in the global in-game items trading market. The Steam platform was released on September 12, 2003. Over the past 4 years, it has gained enormous popularity among the gaming community, reaching $3.5 billion of revenue in 2016. This platform was the first to allow trading of in-game items, but all the profit received from trading was held inside the platform without the possibility of cashing the money out. Moreover, the possibility to trade in-game items is very limited and presented in just a few games. Counter-Strike GO, DOTA 2, Team Fortress 2, PUBG, H1Z1 or H1Z1, whichever you want to call it. Steam Pros. Steam has become the largest marketplace for video games and mods commercialization. It had $3.5 billion of revenue in 2016. Steam's rate of acquisition and catalog offering have shown rapid growth. Up to this day, almost 370 million paid games have been activated. Steam also offers many services for players, modders, and game developers like object training, beta/alpha release, game presale, objects listing, payment processing, and credit card verification. Steam Cons. Steam technology and servers are centralized and have complete control over the availability of any single product or item in their catalog, which leads to security/account fraud. Most of the games on Steam don't have any functionality for in-game item trading. Only 3 games have a significant influence on overall turnover of in-game items. Counter-Strike GO, DOTA 2, Team Fortress 2. Steam users don't have any real influence on platform development. Steam doesn't allow users to cash out virtual platform currency. Steam has high fees for trading in-game items, up to 12%. Steam technology does not support multi-platform and multi-engine trading. Here are some figures that show average daily Steam user numbers and the overall number of games connected to Steam. Number of active daily active users is, let's see here, 12,853,536 as of 7/15/2017. Number of games 14,398 as of July 15th, 2017. Op skins. is an in-game items trading marketplace that was launched in December of 2014. The service implements the Steam API to enable the trading of in-game items. Currently, OpSkins is the biggest skins trading platform on the planet with 10 million unique users monthly. OpSkins Pros. Q1 Q2 2017 turnover conducted around $250 million. Number 2, one of the biggest communities for skin trading, over 10 million users monthly. Number 3, real money cash out. OpSkin Cons. Number 1, doesn't have official support from Steam, lots of account fraud. Number 2, high fees for transaction and cash out, up to 10%. 3, supports only a few Steam games. 4, due to the use of the Steam API, is highly dependent on Steam. Cryptocurrency market. Along with the gaming and virtual reality markets, virtual currency markets are booming. Although no one is currently giving a prognosis on the cryptocurrency market, the numbers clearly state that demand is growing swiftly. Even though the market value of each currency has been fluctuating due to various events that marked the different phases of what is known as Gartner's hype cycle for emerging technologies, we can still expect an increasingly widespread adoption. Cryptocurrencies are here to stay. Absolutely. For the first time, cryptocurrencies hold a market cap larger than $100 billion. Bitcoin owns the biggest share with slightly over $46.6 billion, 47.9% of all cryptocurrencies. But the recent wave of other coins, like Ethereum, has helped bring the total cap over the top. Bitcoin peaked to its all-time high recently in both price and market cap. Nothing to say that's the total. Product details. Problem definition. Every minute spent in-game leaves gamers with virtual goods. This could be new armor, a fancy car, or just a pile of crystals. Unfortunately, there is no easy way, or no way at all, to trade these assets among the billions of gamers around the world. Game universes are not connected to each other, which means there is no safe and easy way to trade between them and no reliable way to approve these trades. It was not technologically possible to build a bridge between Jesus Christ, dude. You're killing me. Between the dozens of game engines, independent and global game developers, and the mobile and console worlds. More than 70% of the 15 million games as we sold in the last 5 years are 2 or more years old. There are currently thousands of games where people can potentially trade and exchange digital items. But this is impossible due to the inability of game developers to provide local trading markets for each game. Billions of gamers possess rare items, fancy items, memorabilia items, all in high demand but technologically limited to trade. The solution. This market void and our many years of experience have inspired DMarket, the first decentralized global marketplace for trading any digital items. To fill in the gap, we have to offer a scalable cross-platform solution that enables gamers to trade any virtual item from any game. We are creating a new economic segment, any kind of collaboration between gamers and game developers on our platform will be regulated by market demand. Therefore, gamers have their own interest in collecting rare items, and game developers are interested in creating and maintaining unique, relevant, and tradable gaming content. Users, players, as well as developers will be able to leverage their own achievements and time spent, either for a better gaming experience or for profit. DMarket will also be an easy place to start showing off to other players. This adds a completely new dimension to game assets, the notion of virtual capital. Oh wow, that's pretty interesting. For gamers, we want to provide an opportunity for every gamer, DMarket user, in the world to be able to evaluate their time, skills, and luck. Gamers will be able to perform easy one-click buy/sell, exchange, and evaluation of every possible game asset, item, skin, design, or mod. To make this possible, each DMarket user will be provided with a wallet on a full-time basis. The wallet will preserve all data in our decentralized database and interact with users utilizing smart contracts. The wallet will contain the next blockchain features. Number 1, token crediting during in-game items trading. Number 2, token deduction during the acquisition of in-game items. Number 3, transaction fees, no more than 5%. That's still a bit excessive. Number 4, in-game item crediting/deduction during the in-game item transaction. Number 5, an influence on the platform development. All these processes will be automated with the help of smart contracts technology. The Ethereum platform is an example of a fully automated system. However, instead of DMarket tokens, it executes ETH currency. Also, the platform uses any other tokens produced for Ethereum instead of digital items. Items unique signature and history. There is also another major aspect in collecting unique assets over time. Smart contract technology will ensure immutable records of one's assets, adding a unique form of memorabilia that will create a natural game certification process. Oh, pardon me. Oh, jeez. Sorry about that. Forever safe on the blockchain. Thus, digital goods become truly unique. They can adapt over time, develop a different value, creating a new realm of memorabilia and collectible assets, as well as a sense of history for users. This will also add a sense of history through digital goods globally. Let's imagine, for example, a collection of 7 unique items from the video games released in 2017. These items cannot be bought, but still can be traded. All owners, the winners and all subsequent owners, add to the asset's history and may add long-term value to their own popularity. Players can collect items from all the championship finals. They can even collect all the armor used by their favorite esports star. These are just a few instances where all the useful history data is securely stored on the blockchain. Influence on market development and voting system. A simple voting system and buying power will provide users with a real impact on the development of game assets, items, and mods. The cross-platform and cross-game items exchange will open new opportunities and discover and play games while leveraging each user's virtual gaming capital. For developers, we offer a unique win-win solution for game developers. DMarket's Developers API is a ready-to-use solution for giving value to any digital item, whether it is skins, gems, or other items, as well as for the item monetization. First, libraries and integration will cover most popular engines such as Unreal, CryEngine, and Unity 3D that will open DMarket integration to most games on the market. Then we will add custom engine support. The choice of the next engine will depend on the audience and community vote. Also, we are working on a mobile solution for iOS and Android. Easy access to the present paper was given to a number of developers from the gaming industry. Most of them showed intense interest in integrating the DMarket API into their games. Moreover, they have helped us compose the case studies and monetization methods for different platforms, PC consoles, mobile, and expand our knowledge of in-game economics. We have a roadmap for single-player PC games, multiplayer PC games, free-to-play PC games, pay-to-win mobile games, free-to-play mobile games, console single and multiplayer games. After studying all of these monetization types, we have a win-win solution for every market. Value for game developers, marketing and general audience increase. All events, promo, and general advertising of the platform will grow the number of supported games and publishers. Number 2, increase general revenue. Publisher will receive the most of the fees from every exchange of his intellectual property, game items. Number 3, increased LTV, lifetime value, will dramatically increase as gamers naturally spend more time in the game hunting for items. This will also ignite a sort of mining rush. Farming items could become the next big thing. Increased and recurrent revenues. Our global decentralized marketplace will provide developers and decision makers with a recurrent market in which games can leverage additional years of existence. Combined with a strong in-game economy system, EVE Online Virtual Economy, and interesting new features, a single game franchise can hope for a lifetime recurrent return. With DMarket, game developers gain most of the fees from every trade commission and on every subsequent resale when your game assets, items, mods are listed on the market. This solution aims to generate new ways of game monetization and increase lifetime value. The evolution of blockchain technology and smart contracts has enabled us to exclude any kind of fraud, whether it's database hacking or account hacking. It is the key criterion in our decision to create DMarket. Also, the expansion of the tradable market will connect an ever-increasing number of potential customers and open a whole new world of marketing and visibility. Use case: single-player or even multiplayer PC and console games could benefit from the trade of hard-to-get and rare and fancy items. Skins for in-game items could fulfill the human drive to be different and avoid changing the balance of the existing game. Mobile games with pay-to-win could benefit from skin turnover. Another option is adding durability to every item officially sold in the game, as well as opening a trade market for used items. That will increase the turnover of new things and add revenue from every used item sale, not cannibalizing main sales. Both platforms should benefit from memorabilia items for winning championships, collaboration with designers, or previously owned by game stats. Information about each item's owner and history will be secured on the blockchain, creating additional demand for these items from armies of fans. We will provide detailed case studies for every platform, along with technical data and a standalone document. Modders, designers, and contributors. The market for modders will open any game to developers, designers, modders, and code-based contributors. Well-balanced percentage and use of smart contracts will provide the ecosystem with the opportunity to win pre-sale and beta/alpha production cycles, increasing the community while building a user base and setting up individual economic network. The DMarket network will help gamers leverage their virtual capital and help game industry players increase their revenues. That sounds like a win-win to me. Technologies. At the moment, we are reviewing the following platforms: EOS, Tezos, Eternity, Exonum, and BitShares Fork as a possible base for DMarket. The main focus is on performance, in which we seek 1. Predictability, 2. Scalability, 3. Ease of use. Dude, you can forget about 1. There's nothing predictable about crypto, man. We are developing DMarket as a very high-load system. Market potential consists of billions of users, each of them having thousands of digital items. After passing the milestone of 10 million users, the second phase of product development will focus on our own blockchain solution. Currently, we are developing it using the DMarket Core, a Solidity DAO framework, and web-based decentralized app, DApp. DMarket development process. To implement the concept of trading virtual items between different games, we plan to use the most advanced developments in IT to achieve the maximum technological result. Okay, whatever. The development of the first version of the marketplace is being conducted on proven platforms such as PHP 7, PostgreSQL, JS/Node.js. However, we constantly monitor alternative technical implementations of the system, and at the moment, we are also considering the possibility of implementing a system based on Erlang and in conjunction with Nitrogen plus N2O as alternative stacks for development of the fault-tolerant system using WebSockets. To ensure full transparency in trading operations, blockchain technology is used as a decentralized data storage unit. At the moment, the system is being developed on Ethereum, but in the future this platform will be revised and possibly replaced with a more economically robust one, possibly RSK. We are also studying the possibility of writing our own platform, taking into account all the technical and functional requests that our potential users have expressed. In this case, we will emphasize the choice of the optimal consensus algorithm to maintain a balance between system performance and security in general. We will pay great attention to the scalability of smart contracts. At the moment, there are three main approaches to scale platforms for smart contracts: sharding, database optimization, and conditional channels. We plan to use the best of each of these approaches to build on our own platform. We will also implement technologies based on big data, which will enable us to take into account the constant acceleration of data growth in the system. These technologies will allow us to 1. Gain access to detailed information about consumer preferences, on which we can build detailed analytical profiles for specific game developers, virtual products, and everything that has virtual value in the network. 2. Integrate detailed data on transactions and purchase statistics for certain groups of virtual goods by different categories of users. 3. Receive detailed analytical data on the transmission links of virtual goods and monitor the constantly changing demand for certain goods in the network. 4. Counteract falsifications of the release of game items, increase the effectiveness of combating money laundering and fraud, etc. To solve the problem of analyzing enormous amounts of statistical data, we will also use technology based on machine learning, which will greatly simplify the processes of analysis and decision-making. Technologies that will predict the liquidity of certain digital items on the basis of available statistics are already being developed. How does the system work from the perspective of the end user? The user creates an account on DMarket. During registration, the system will create a user profile and a balance account that will be based on the DMarket token. Once the user has access to his account, he will have the opportunity to add the needed amount of DMarket tokens to his balance. To do this, he will be able to use the account deposit system, where he can select one of the appropriate methods to top up the account balance for the purchase of DMarket tokens. Processing companies will be involved in this stage. For example, users can use their credit card to buy DMarket tokens. If a user has some other cryptocurrency, the system will allow an instant exchange of the user's tokens for DMarket tokens using existing exchanges, such as Coinbase, etc. Standard regulatory and anti-fraud measures could apply to this stage. For trading operations in the system, the user will have to specify his credentials to enter a game. After that, the system will automatically synchronize the user's game items with their personal cabinet on the trading platform. This synchronization will be completed via API using the user's game credentials. A synchronization of objects with the tradable property will be held between the blockchain and the marketplace, and the subsequent display of these items in the user's cabinet. And with that, I'm just going to pause here for just a moment. I was receiving a whole bunch of notifications here from somebody, and I wanted to make sure it was nothing terribly important. Thought you would enjoy this. Okay, cool. Alright. Oh, no way. Oh, wow. Cool. My cousin is currently hanging out with, I guess, Gary Holt from Slayer. Oh, he's hanging out with Slayer right now. Fuck, man, that's cool. You know what? I gotta throw him a message really quick. He's fucking Gary's guest tonight. This is fucking so awesome. Yeah, I will be going to see them when they hit Eugene. Rock on. I can't. That's so fucking awesome. And you know what? I'm just gonna type that to him, because that is. Let's see. BTW. That is so fucking awesome. Oh man, I could probably wing something really, really cool if we worked at it. I don't know. I might have to. I might have to. You know. I might have to do some work. You never know. Anyway, getting back to this white paper, we're on page 17 of 29. For trading operations in the system, the user will have to specify his credentials to enter a game. After that, the system will automatically synchronize the user's game items with their personal cabinet on the trading platform. This synchronization will be completed via API using the user's game credentials. A synchronization of objects with the tradable property will be held between the blockchain and the marketplace, with the subsequent display of these items in the user's cabinet. To implement this synchronization and the overall interaction of the game with the trading platform, game developers will be provided with an API that will contain the following basic group of methods. Methods for registering a developer in the system while the system registers a new balance account for the developer. Number 2, methods for generating hash values for each game item. Hash will be used as a unique value to account for virtual items. Methods for transferring hash values within the network between players and sellers. Methods allowing the identification of the state of each game item. Methods that track certain parameters of certain virtual objects. Game developers will receive all the necessary tools in the form of DLL libraries to manage the game items and API documentation for the integration of game items with the player's personal cabinet on the trading platform. The blockchain network will be used as a storage layer for information about the movement of game items, thus ensuring transparency, honesty, and security for the above described marketplaces. And you know what? That's page 17, and we're just going to pause really quick because we're like halfway through this bad boy, or a little bit over halfway. And I want to try something really quick. So I'm going to go ahead and throw down some fucking music right now, and you know I want to try something out. So yeah. We're going to go ahead and throw down a little bit of Slayer right now then. War Ensemble, here on Coin Metal. And that was Static X with Permanence. As if there is such a thing, right? Shit. Wayne Static is dead. So, shows you how permanent anything is, right? Anyway, let's get back into this white paper here. We are on page 17 of 29. The synchronization of information exchange about existing and past transactions is based on 2 program layers that will be located between the marketplace and the blockchain. The backend layer with all the necessary programming interfaces based on implemented methods and functions that receive all the necessary information from the marketplace, current transactions in the system, and their statuses, etc. The blockchain layer, which is implemented on the basis of smart contracts, that has the main task of ensuring the transparency and reliability of the transaction for all its participants. All operations that the contract manipulates use the hash of a particular item that the game developer created when the game was developed. In order to ensure the correct functioning of the second layer, the contracts implement functions that check the availability of game items based on hash, their available quantity, the solvency of the user who wishes to acquire them, and other parameters that will be predetermined in the game. The specification of all these functions will be outlined in the relevant documentation and provided to the developers. The mechanics of the smart contract will include the ability to check the parameters assigned to it, using the API of the first layer or the built-in functions of the contract itself, which receive input values passed to them through the backend layer. Also, we are considering using blockchain oracles as an additional public source of information, 3 additional layers of interaction, which will allow us to uncompromisingly ascertain the veracity of the information received, given the fact that smart contracts will enable the platform to implement complex chains of interactions between market users. There is a need for an instrument that will simplify the possibility of using a smart contract by end users in general. To this end, we are considering the possibility of creating a special constructor that will enable us to specify the main conditions for the implementation of a contract in a few clicks, and with necessary checks and their sources, making this interface as user-friendly as possible for the trader. DMarket tokens. Please note, cryptographic tokens referred to in this white paper are cryptographic tokens on a launched blockchain that adopts DMarket.io software. They are not the ERC20 compatible tokens being distributed on the Ethereum blockchain in connection with the DMarket token distribution. After the token sale period, all contributors will receive an ERC20 exchangeable DMarket token on the Ethereum network. After the launch of the main DMarket network, it will be exchanged 1-to-1 with a native DMarket coin. Oh, Jesus Christ, dude. All digital goods are set with a DMarket coin value. Every in-game item will have a form of DMarket token in the DMarket coin wallet. All transactions of digital goods are made in DMarket coin, with DMarket coin evaluated prices. Fees are paid in DMarket coins at asset creation and at asset exchange using blockchain confirmations. In other words, the DMarket coin is the money that runs DMarket. I gotta wonder why they need an ICO with Ethereum if they have DMarket coins. DMarket coin functionality. DMarket coins are represented by DMarket coin. They will be used across the DMarket platform and will not be limited by the platform in the future. DMarket coins will be used for 1. Currency, in case of in-game items buying/selling. 2. Fee deduction for in-game items trading. 3. Profit distribution among digital property copyright holders. 4. Premium account acquisition for wholesalers and retailers. 5. Big data analytics acquisition. 6. Service fee postponement based on smart contracts which are sourced from one DMarket user to another. Digital goods. Developers, designers, and modders create digital goods. Each item will be marked as a property of the company or the person who created it, identified by its own unique ID, making it possible to track the item within the system and the blockchain. Optionally, with specific time-related features, premium, normal, used, or any other additional properties which are defined in a smart contract. Technically, they will be DMarket blockchain network tokens. Digital goods can vary from 1. Game currency. 2. Game items, goods, services. 3. Game collectibles. 4. Game trophies. 5. Skins, designs, animations, texture objects. DMarket tokens are created through the use of the API's endpoint and a token factory itself using a library submodule that can be optionally imported, thus giving great flexibility to asset creators. The token will represent consistent information stored on the blockchain, thus the unique ownership of one's digital goods. The goods' ownership properties and state will live in the marketplace outside of the game realm. The digital goods token will be transferable, meaning that it can be bought or sold or given from one owner to another. The assets will also bear their own evaluation methods that can be called in one click or API request with minimal fees. Each transaction held in the DMarket has a main fee of 5% of the total amount of the transaction. At that, most of the fee will be sent to the game developers whose items participated in the transaction. The remaining sum of the fee will be obtained by the DMarket as a reward for closing blocks of blockchains and creating smart contracts. Product monetization and DMarket coin economy. Monetization is achieved via a transaction fee in DMarket coin on each change of item ownership taking place on the DMarket. The fees minus the remittance rights of asset creators are the net profit. Thus, the marketplace is free to use and to browse. Users will be paid with asset exchanges between users or between users and merchants. The network will charge fees directly at the smart contract level in DMarket coin. Remittances will be awarded in DMarket coins using smart contract technology. DMarket coin features. DMarket coin will be coded using smart contract scripting language following network compliance. The DMarket coin features are: number 1, owner protected contract. Only the initial token factory contract creator address will have rights to use protected functions. Number 2, central mint. The token factory will be opened for users to make assets tradable and create new tokens. 3, transferable. Tokens can be exchanged, buy, sell, gift. Number 4, get token eval. Get an evaluation of current token market value. Number 5, destroyable. A token owner can be destroyed. The token factory can: number 1, create a new token contract. Number 2, set token prices. Users can set token prices while making assets tradable. Set premium, normal, and used state properties. Number 3, choose from varying options about asset type and stored data. Access pre-made libraries, import options, and contract. Number 4, make cooperative assets creation, multi-sig scheme. Number 5, blacklist owner. Addresses that can be blacklisted as not allowed to use token factory. DMarket tokens as in-game items. Every in-game tradable item will have a form of DMarket network token connected to the main DMarket coin wallet and transferable and tradable through the network. A concept example could be taken from Ethereum network with ERC20 tokens. Summary: 2.2 billion gamers currently face technological denial of their right to trade in-game items. With time and effort, they earn these virtual assets on computers, phones, or consoles. Assets that have actual value, being rare, fancy, and sometimes simply wanted by other players. By creating DMarket, a blockchain-based marketplace, we can connect all games and platforms together. Using built-in token and smart contracts, users will be able to make one-click sale, exchange, or evaluation of every virtual item between all games on any platform. DMarket makes virtual items real. Using our API, every game developer will easily connect their game to DMarket. That will increase the lifetime value, revenue, and time spent in their games. Users will finally enter the global economy with virtual items, creating a new community in the billion-dollar market economy. Game developers are very welcome to discuss API implementation and DMarket economics in their current and future projects. We invite every qualified and interested blockchain and crypto developer to open discussion about network creation. Crypto investors can participate in the token sale, with the main phase starting on November 1st. Become part of the new world economy. Support DMarket and join us today. And then they've got their product roadmap. And, let's cover their market acquisition thing here. Milestone 1, DMarket brand awareness. Building global brand awareness. Participating in more than 10 blockchain, fintech, and gaming conferences where our team spreads the DMarket idea, discusses technical aspects, and enlarges the community. Milestone 2, DMarket Marketplace Alpha, version 0.1a. DMarket Marketplace Alpha testnet release by the end of 2017. Milestone 3, DMarket token listing. DMarket tokens listing on exchanges by the end of 2017. Milestone 4, DMarket API integration. DMarket API integration to the first 10 games. First steps towards the creation of the in-game item trading market. Milestone 5, DMarket e-commerce system creation. E-commerce platforms adopt in-game item trading. Extension development for popular e-commerce CMS. Milestone 6, DMarket API integration to the 50 games. DMarket integration to 50 games, the marketplace acquires first 10 million users. Milestone 7, DMarket API integration to the 2000 games. Oh gosh, and then Milestone 8, e-commerce ecosystem enhancing. DMarket integrates in-game items trading to 2,000 online shops and marketplaces. Support for all popular CMS e-commerce. Milestone 9 is 5,000 games. Okay, cool. And token sale, we're not going to read that. And distribution and all that. And we do have the release phases. Our commitment after the token distribution phase 1, up to 5 million tokens could be sold. Contributors will receive a full refund. Okay, from 5 million to 15 million sold. DMarket, blah blah blah. Development, spreading the word about DMarket, launch token. Blah, blah. You know, the goals sound really cool and all that, but and they do actually have a team, and they do have an advisory board. Oh my goodness, they're in good hands. They've got Evelyn Grigorovich. There we go. Yevgeny, project leader at GSC Game World. Stalker! Dude, oh my god. If I had this kind of fucking economy available to me while I was playing Stalker, holy shit. I harvested the best shit, man. I'd be like trading stuff mad all over. It'd be fucking awesome. Huh. You know, this is kind of an answer to something that, you know, I've been looking at for a very long time, where, you know, you spend literally years of your life in virtual worlds, you know, and this would be a way to monetize some of the items that you acquire while you're in game, which, I mean, to me, that's a pretty fucking awesome idea. However, I think their scope is a little bit limited. You know, as far as their perspective goes, I think a slightly better project, would be to abandon the ICO idea entirely. Abandon the coin idea entirely. What you want to do is create a decentralized, cross-game, cross-platform application / exchange network. Okay? And on the back side of it, instead of having Ethereum tokens and ERC20 tokens and DMarket tokens and tokens, you have an exchange market for various existing cryptocurrencies, such as Verge or Doge or Litecoin or whatever coin. Point being that if you did it that way, you could be receiving fees on a variable basis, that have variable exchange rates. And then you're not just limited to getting your fees according to the exchange rate of your market. Now, sure, some of the authors may quibble and not really like that, because their exchange rate would go down on some coins and up on others. And that takes a little bit of consistency out of it. But market dynamism is good. And the reality is, I don't see video games like going down in number of users. I mean, to some extent, when you hit around 40s or something, there's a significant drop-off in people that actually have time to play video games. There just is. I mean, the exceptions are people that are already online and already online professionals. They pretty much live online. So gaming online is, it's like playtime, But the point being that, I can think of 2, maybe 3 games right off the bat where such an exchange, I think, would be helpful for in-game stuff. Like, if you would be able to integrate that with, Morrowind Online or whatever that is. Shit, I forgot the name of it. Skyrim, that kind of stuff. Morrowind, that storyline, that series of games. If you could move that kind of market into it, that would be fucking pimp. Because then you acquire all the shit for making like super rare items or something. You train up your character to where he's like just a master fucking blacksmith, and you craft ultra rare items, and you name them individually, and then you sell them at some sort of premium. Because you've gone through all the training and shit, and you're like super ultra mega trained up on everything, and so that saves everybody else the effort of trying to power up their character just for those purposes, and they could be concentrating on skills that are more attuned to saving their ass while they're out in the field, But the point being that I can see a lot of utility for that kind of market, but again, why limit yourself to a cryptocurrency? And then, on top of that, you have to worry about all the regulatory bullshit that comes along with it. Let other coins endure that bullshit. Just don't worry about trying to be the end-all be-all of the fucking marketplace. Being this like self-contained fucking universe that somehow is going to interface with the real world as far as the economy of your coins. And being dependent on Ethereum in any way, it has its advantages and it has its disadvantages. It has the disadvantage of being a central point of failure. If Ethereum goes through a major flash crash or something like that, you're looking at the fucking ceiling going, oh God, why have you forsaken me? Because your fucking ICO token went down with it. It's like people whine about cryptocurrencies going down individually in price, but they disregard the fact that the cryptocurrency they're talking about is exchangeable for Bitcoin, which happens to be appreciating in price. So in real world terms, they've probably made money during the time they've been trading in cryptocurrencies and stuff, even though in relative terms they've lost money in the exchange rate between the cryptocurrency they were trading in Bitcoin. So, it's really easy to get hyper concentrated on certain points, especially when you're talking about your portfolio. I mean, come on now. That's your fucking bread and butter for some of you out there. So, being a little bit sensitive about it, it can happen. But don't lose the forest for the trees. You gotta keep the broader perspective available at hand at all times. And You know, it's funny. I still see people commenting occasionally about how Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies are a scam. And it's like, dude, take a look at your wallet. Take a look in your wallet. If you have any of those paper notes, that's the fucking biggest scam that's ever been committed on human race right there. I mean, with cryptocurrencies, at least there's the proof of work behind them. There's the proof that somebody dedicated some fucking hardware and some electricity and some time and some bandwidth to mining it, in most cases. In the case of some ICOs, like even that one that we just went through, they talk about being able to create new tokens on the fly. Okay, but of course, they don't talk about the economic effect of that, which is the dilution of the value of the existing tokens. Oh, don't even fucking look at that in a mirror. No. We can't be fucking looking at that as a possibility, because, you know, that's what we're trying to get away from in cryptocurrencies. That's the whole point of having proof of work. Okay, because then you don't have to trust. You can verify. You can look on the network and you can say, oh yeah, there's 3,000 nodes miners pumping away at this thing at some fucking petahash level amount of power being dedicated to it. So, you know, it's not a question of whether or not these things are happening. You know, you can verify that they're happening. You can see the state of the network at any one time if you bother to take a look at the tools available. And so, you know, I don't know what it is. I really don't. You know, I mean, it's like I hear that, and then, like, I'll see some posts on my Twitter. Like, I saw one today. It was really funny. He was commenting how he was in a strip club, and he heard a stripper commenting about liking big blocks. I mean, I commented back. I'm like, don't remember back when you only heard about such things, or you only read about such things in IRC? You know, it's like I guess we may have hit that quote unquote mainstream threshold for all good it's done us. But just the same, I think that there are a growing number of people that are becoming aware of cryptocurrencies, and as they fall further and further down the rabbit hole and get more comfortable with admitting their own individual ignorance, as I struggle with continuously, you start confronting it and finding out that your base impressions were pretty off. And you can't really blame yourself, because there is so much disinformation in this space. I mean, really, you have to take the time to read this stuff. You know, as far as DMarket goes, I see some potential there, but like I said, I think the concentration on trying to stick to the ICO model, I think it's boring. I think it's been done. The idea of trying to make it centric on your own coin, again, boring, done. Live open exchange, multi-currency exchange, cross-currency exchange. Okay, now we're talking. Now that's something fucking exciting. I mean, because fuck, I can make some arbitrage. Maybe the people of Doge don't value the gun that I have as much as the people in Verge do. And so the people in Verge are willing to pay me more money in relative terms than the people in Doge are. So, again, I think that I think they should probably take a step back on their whole roadmap there and reevaluate that whole coin association business. But otherwise, I think it's a pretty solid idea. I mean, they could certainly be creating multiple markets there. You know, things for weaponry that you've used. Now, I think that's especially spiff, especially with regard to the fact that, like in PlanetSide 2, the developers had special items that only they had. that they would craft for themselves or whatever. And there were some items that, for whatever reason, they would like a certain player or something, they would give them to a player. And they'd be slightly overpowered or something like that. But, those kind of items would be that much more collectible in game, I'm sure that World of Warcraft has 1,000,000,001 fucking sets of armor and weaponry and all kinds of resources and shit that could be just as easily monetized. Hell, my favorite game these days is fucking Fallout Shelter. Now, the thing I love about Fallout Shelter is you can make your own weaponry and you can make your own suits. Now, what would be really cool is if you could integrate this DMarket thing in and be able to buy items to make different suits and different guns, because some of the items are very rare. I mean, like, they're unique, or not unique, but rare. Rare items in and of themselves that you need to have in order to be able to build legendary weaponry and legendary armor. So I can see the potential for a market if they were to interface with Steam and maybe even like Microsoft and Sony, and be working on an exchange that will work across all those platforms, and that you would be able to trade. I mean, like, there's various games like the GTA series and a few others where they span multiple platforms. I mean, like Counter-Strike, fuck. I wouldn't be surprised if it's on the Nintendo Wii. In all honesty, I don't know how fun that would be, but the point being that it's a widely distributed game, so that would give you a lot of constituencies to open this exchange up to. And there's always various spots in a game when you can't find certain things that you need. Again, I think this exchange is a really great idea, but I think they could go further with it. Maybe take it back to the drawing board or something. But get free of this idea of sticking it to a particular currency. And I think the sky would be the limit for this kind of technology. If you can master the back end for the exchange to where it does mark every item and you are able to track it like a cryptocurrency throughout the exchange and whatnot, I think that ends cool. Like I said, the only part I have any trouble with is the currency end of it. Forget about trying to maintain your own currency, man. You're gonna get hacked. You're gonna inspire people trying to swindle and shit, and dumping your fucking coin and crashing the value of everybody's items and then buying them cheap, and all kinds of market manipulation that you don't really need to have. If you introduce the possibility of interfacing with different currencies, you also introduce the competition level for that. So, if say Ethereum in itself is the most desirable coin at the time, your players and your merchants and whatnot could decide to take payment in Ethereum or have it converted over to Ethereum and give preference for paying in Ethereum, because it would be advantageous for them on the exchange rate. You see what I'm saying? So again, I think solid idea. It's about, I would say, 8 steps toward the door. It needs 2 more steps, then it'd be the gaming exchange of the future, or at least one of them. Anyway, we're going to go ahead and round out this episode. It's been a pleasure as always. And we'll be back again Monday, 8 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. Hopefully I'll be getting my ass kicked to jiu-jitsu on the regular according to my normal physical schedule by then. I am planning to go tomorrow, and unless I go tomorrow and Sunday, that'll definitely get me back on track to my regular schedule, and then maybe taking it a step further and getting an additional day this next week. And supposedly there's some other marker for SegWit going to be happening soon. So we'll definitely be keeping an eye on that kind of business. And don't count Bitcoin Cash out yet. I commented elsewhere that if you were around during the beginnings of Bitcoin, it didn't even fare as well as Bitcoin Cash has. So, and take into account the fact that Bitcoin Cash is coming into an existing market under an existing moniker. So, it's going to be a little more challenging for them up front. But who's to say for the longer term? Certainly not I. In any case, like I said, I want to go ahead and round this episode out. We're going to go ahead and throw in some White Zombie for our last dance. More human than human. And until Monday, 8 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, I want y'all to trade safe. I want you to do your homework. There's a lot of people out there still trying to deceive you, and I want you to watch out for your own bunghole, because nobody else is going to do it for you. Thank you very much for listening, and y'all have an excellent weekend.